What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Case Digital. My name is Zach. In today's video, we're answering the question of how to list the files of a directory in your terminal. So I want to go over with you the very simple command that you can use, and one of the ones that you need to know, I feel, as a software developer, that you need to know so that it can help you along your programming journey. So listing a file, or listing all the files or directories in your current directory that you're in, is a common task, I promise you, that you will use throughout your programming journey, especially when you start to do stuff that's with, dealing with things on the server or whatnot, or if you're trying to get used to it with just using the terminal, because IDEs like I'm using right here are great, but honestly, knowing the terminal commands can help you a ton. So to list out the directory, all you're going to do is use the command ls. Now when I do this, given the directory that I'm in, so I'm in the strings directory of my YouTube tutorials Python basics repo. So when I hit ls, it's going to give me all the files that are in there. Now if I say, let's go back cd to the main folder, what you'll see is if I hit ls, you'll see not only files, but you'll also see the directories or the other folders that are within this folder as well. Now granted, your terminal may look different from mine. A lot of people do custom terminal settings. This is pretty basic. I haven't really changed anything, I don't think. So if you set up a custom look for your terminal, you might have different colors for your directories versus your files. But usually ls, basically this is the simple command. So now let's get into some additional commands or parameters that you can pass ls to do different things. All right, one quick thing before we get into some different parameters that you can pass to the ls command. What I want to show you is how do I go about looking up the documentation for these things? Now you could Google it, right? You could go out and Google, which is probably how you landed here. But one of the things I want to show you is inside of the terminal, there's a basic what's called the man pages, and essentially what that does is it'll give you a definition based on the command that you want. So if I type man ls, this will list out, hey, look, this is the general commands manual, and it'll show you ls, the name is list directory contents. The synopsis is basically how to use it is ls, and then you can give it any one of these parameters, right? Or a file or whatever. And so, or a path, right? A file path, essentially. And so basically, some of the commands I want to go over is like -l, lowercase a, and whatnot. And I just want to show you this, but you could come in and type man ls, and you can come read all of these different parameters that you can pass in that will allow you to do different things or display different things as you want to see them. So let's go ahead, and then I can hit Q to get out of that. Now, if I type in ls, we bring up what we just had. There's my folder with there's the contents of this current folder with all of the files as well as directories. Now, I want to go over the ls-a command. So why I want to go over the ls-a command is the fact that if you notice right here, this just gives us all the files and or folders that probably are more prominently useful to the user. Now, oftentimes what you'll have is hidden files. So how do I find a hidden file within my folder? Well, that's where the -a come in. And because what happens is -a and or ls-a, if I run this, what you'll see is now it shows me a lot of the things that we didn't have before, such as the .ds, which is a Mac default file. You have the .git folder, which is basically where all the hooks and everything in for this repo live to give you the config and all that different type of stuff. You got .git ignore files, which tell this Git repo to ignore certain types of files. Basically, oftentimes when you're caching something or when something needs saved for later use, whether it's for a program or whatever, or for a program on your machine or whatnot, they usually have these dot files. And what happens is in a normal ls command, it just says, hey, they don't need to see everything. Just show them what's the files that don't start with a dot. Because usually that indicate, in my experience, usually that's indicated a file that's storing cached information or stuff that the program can use for quicker reference for later on. And so when you do the -a command, it basically just says show everything, right? And so now we have everything or all the stuff that starts with a dot in our folder shown. Now let's go over, this is one format you can display stuff in, but now let's go over another command or another parameter that we can pass in to get it basically not just all the contents here, a column row, but basically just one row. So let's clear this, reset, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to type that's ls-a, that's what we had before. If I type ls-l, what you'll see is it basically lists everything in this file, but it's going to give you the same thing. It's not going to give you the dot folders or the stuff that begins with a dot. It's just going to show you, basically give you information about the permissions for these files, when they were created, how big they are, what time they were last modified, or what date and time they were last modified, and so on. And so basically doing the -l will basically force input to be the information for one file or folder for every single row. Now, the nice thing is you can combine these commands where I can do ls-la, which will force everything, but then also it'll give us all the stuff that has the dot. And so that's just some powerful things, and I promise you'll probably get very comfortable either just doing ls, reset that so we can see everything. So you'll get very comfortable doing ls or ls-a or ls-la, because oftentimes what you'll find is like, hey, I want to know what the permissions are for this file, or who the user it belongs to, or who the group it belongs to, or how big it is, and so on and so forth. So I hope you have found this helpful. If you have, please hit that like button below. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And until next time, keep on programming.